From the ash-covered wastelands of Scadrial to the raging high storms of Roshar, the vast transplanetary world of the Cosmere is one of the most ambitious literary undertakings in fiction. The brainchild of modern fantasy phenomenon Brandon Sanderson, this shared universe is where iconic series like Mistborn, Elantris, and the Stormlight Archive take place. It is chock full of imaginative magic systems, capricious gods, ongoing mysteries, and heroic clashes which strike to the very core of what makes modern fantasy the juggernaut that it is today. As we plan to talk about Brandon Sanderson's fantastic worlds and stories in various upcoming series, we should first explain the common rules and concepts of the shared universe where they all take place. Welcome to the Wizards and Warriors channel's Introduction to the Cosmere, the most expansive shared universe in all of fantasy. Now, in fantasy worlds, it's pretty common for people to look good all the time, and we've got a special offer for those who want to try a bit of this in real life with an easy system. Our sponsor Tiege Hanley brings you their simple and affordable skincare products for guys. Not quite magic, but not far off either. Short version, just use their level 1 system, which gets you a daily face wash, a twice per week exfoliating scrub, a morning moisturizer that doubles as sunscreen, and an evening moisturizer that maintains your skin's hydration at night. And they give you an instruction card that explains the best way to use it all, the amounts, the order. Basically, it's easy even if you're getting into skincare for the first time. Turns out magic is pretty simple. With over 5,000 5-star reviews from around the world, it seems Tiege Hanley is catching on. And if you want to try it for yourself, go to Tiege.com, where getting amazing skin is just the start of what they can offer. You can even get a Tiege membership for a 20% discount, the ability to customize your packages and partake in monthly deals, with free US shipping and low costs for international. Then there's our special offer. Get 30% off your first box and get a free gift by using our link in the description. Go see how everything's better with healthy skin. Although much has yet to be revealed of the inner workings of the Cosmere, we know that much of the creation of this universe centers around a single entity, Adonalsium, a divine, godlike being, whose exact nature Sanderson has yet to elaborate upon. Whatever Adonalsium was, however, it essentially served as the Cosmere's power of creation, which permeated through all things within the universe. Long before the Cosmere came to exist in its current form, a group of 16 mortals came together and conspired to destroy God. The events surrounding the murder of Adonalsium are shrouded in mystery. However, within the Cosmere, the only true certainty is that nothing can ever truly be destroyed, only changed. Thus, rather than be wiped entirely from existence, the power of Adonalsium was sundered into 16 shards, each one an aspect of his personality. These shards were devotion, dominion, preservation, ruin, odium, cultivation, honor, endowment, autonomy, ambition, invention, mercy, valor, and whimsy. Each of the gods' 16 mortal murderers claimed one of the shards, becoming known as the Shard Holders, and coming to possess a fragment of divinity. In short, the 16 had killed their deity, and in doing so, had become gods themselves. There was a god, Adonalsium. I don't know if it was a force or a being, though I suspect the latter. 16 people together killed Adonalsium, ripping it apart and dividing its essence between them, becoming the first who ascended. Chris to Kelsier. The Shard Holders scattered, either creating their own worlds, or settling on worlds Adonalsium had created before his murder. There they expanded upon Adonalsium's initial creations, with worlds they came to reside upon becoming known as Shard Worlds. Where the shards settled, they brought with them massive amounts of investiture, the spiritual energy which empowers all of the Cosmere's forms of magic. Indeed, each of the worlds which came to be inhabited by a shard developed magic systems powered by investiture, with the form and nature of their magic determined by the influence of the shard holder on that world. This serves to explain why, within a single universe, each world differs so greatly in the magic they're capable of utilizing, from the Stormlight-powered surge binding of Roshar to the metallic allomancy of Scadrial. The concept of investiture is vital in understanding the functioning of the shards and their impact on the individual denizens of the Cosmere. Investiture is essentially the common denominator in the otherwise vastly different, seemingly unrelated forms of magic in this universe, and everyone who resides within the confines of the Cosmere is invested in some manner or another. Despite their omnipotent presence in all of Sanderson's stories, the Shards of Adonalsium are mysterious beings who we don't know much about. As previously mentioned, each is named after a specific action or ideal, which is known as an intent. Moreover, the shard itself is not the same entity as the mortal who bears it. A shard must always be controlled by an individual mind, and when a person holds a shard, the power which resides within it imbues the individual. Currently, some shards are still held by their original claimant, while other shards have changed bearers over the millennia. When the original 16 each claimed their shards, they were unaware of the impact that harnessing such power would have on them. The power of divinity overwhelmed them, and they became overcome by an overwhelming desire to follow the intent of their individual shard. This caused conflict across the planets of the Cosmere, for while shards with more peaceful intent, like honor, cultivation, and preservation, had a mandate to ensure peace and growth on the worlds they inhabited, shards with more passionate intent, like odium and ruin, were often sources of conflict, destruction, and chaos on those selfsame worlds. Let us now shift our narrative away from the Shards of Adonalsium and tackle the other complex way in which this universe is divided, by diving into the esoteric beast that is Realmatic theory. On top of being transplanetary, the Cosmere is also a multi-dimensional universe, which exists on 3 different planes of reality, known as realms: the physical realm, the cognitive realm, and the spiritual realm. We don't sleep. We don't eat. I think we might feed off humans, actually. Your emotions. Or you thinking about us, maybe. It all seems very complicated. In Shadesmar we can think on our own, but if we go to your realm, we need a human bond. Otherwise we're practically as mindless as those glory spren. Sylphrena on the nature of spren. The physical realm is the most easily understood realm, as it is the world in which mortals, humans withstanding, inhabit. The spiritual realm is the realm of the soul. It is believed that this realm acts as the afterlife for the denizens of the Cosmere. The spiritual is by far the most mysterious of the 3 realms, and it is not certain if even the shard holders themselves can access this realm fully. In this realm, every person has what is known as a spirit web, which is made up of a latticework of lines, but the individual shape of each person's spirit web differs. The cognitive realm is much better documented, but tricky to fully understand. It's known to the people of Roshar as Shadesmar, and is the realm of thoughts and ideas made manifest. It is the home of various immortal-ish beings called spren, sentient fragments of the power of creation, associated with some aspect of nature or human personality. The cognitive realm can be used in a process called world hopping. The individual worlds of the Cosmere are much closer to one another within this realm than in the physical realm, and a world hopper can effectively walk to other planets. The most important world hopper throughout the Shard worlds is Hoid. However, in the interests of avoiding speculation and conjecture as to his true being and purpose, we will not delve too deeply into his story. A further qualifying factor in world hopping is that a perpendicularity, in essence a magical gate at the junction of the 3 realms, is needed to move from world to world. Perpendicularities form only where investiture is extremely concentrated, and as such are usually found where a shard holder is concentrating their power. At these points, physical matter, cognitive thought, and spiritual essence become one, and a being can slide between realms. Excerpt from Chris's essay on the Dromonad system. Let us now jump back into the physical realm and discuss the many planets of the Cosmere, the societies that inhabit them, and the magics they use. Within the Cosmere itself, there are countless inhabited worlds, although only 10 of which are known to be inhabited by Shards of Adonalsium, thus having their own soul and unique magic system as a result. Of the 10 Shard worlds, 9 have been revealed by Brandon, which we will now do a survey of. Ashen is the world where the upcoming novel The Silence Divine will take place, and is where the Shard Odium once dwelled until a cataclysmic event took place, forcing the residents, odium among them, to make their way to another world. Ashran is the first planet from the Sun in the Rosharan system, and prior to the Great Calamity, which left much of the world uninhabitable, it was largely Earth-like. The small pockets which still allow for human inhabitation contain sizable populations, including the famous floating cities of Ashen. Its magic system focused on a symbiotic relationship between investiture and bacteria and viruses, with individuals deliberately seeking to get sick and gaining magical powers as a result. The planet Braze is located within Greater Roshar and is the current home of the Shard Odium. This planet is the furthest out of the three within the Rosharan system. It is cold and inhospitable in its nature, and serves principally as a prison for Odium's immortal minions, as well as the Heralds of Roshar, whose ability to endure torture on this planet is all that holds back devastation from coming upon the humans of Roshar. More on that in our future Stormlight Archive videos. First of the Sun is a planet that lies within the Dromonad system, and is where the book Sixth of Dusk takes place. The Dromonad system comprises 3 worlds that are inhabited by fully developed human societies. This makes it unique within the Cosmere, as only the Rosharan system can rival it in terms of inhabited worlds. Water is the dominant feature of these worlds, and the first world contains a perpendicularity, which is particularly mysterious as there is no shard residing within this system. The magic system on this planet is called Avia, a form of powers derived from partnership with birds. Nalthis provides the setting for the book Warbreaker, and is the residence of the Shard Endowment. Little is known of the geography of Nalthis. However, there is a large inland sea which is exceptionally valuable for trade. At least 1/3 of this sea's coast is owned by the most powerful kingdom on Nalthis, Halandren. This kingdom is unique, as it's the only known place on the planet where the Tears of Edgley will grow. The magic system here is known as Biochroma. Roshar provides the setting for Sanderson's flagship series, the Stormlight Archive. It is where the Shards' honor and cultivation reside, while Odium also exercises a considerable influence over this planet as well. Roshar is colossal by Cosmere standards, although it is still slightly smaller than Earth. The landscape of Roshar varies massively, and has been impacted by the continued effect of gigantic invested thunderstorms, which regularly ravage the planet's surface from east to west. To survive these high storms, the flora and fauna of Roshar have adapted in a way that makes them extremely bizarre and alien to our Earth-like sensibilities. Magic systems on Roshar include Fabrial Science, Surge Binding, Void Binding, and the Old Magic. Next on our list of planets is Ash-covered Scadrial, which provides the setting for the Mistborn series, and is the residence of the Shards' preservation and ruin. The conflict between these two Shards has led to an exceptionally powerful form of investiture centered around the manipulation of metal, which takes the forms of Hemalurgy, Allomancy, and Feruchemy. The position of the planet is also subject to change, as certain exceptional individuals in Scadrial's history have gained access to vast amounts of power in the past, allowing them to literally move the planet. Sel is the planet upon which the books Elantris and the Emperor's Soul take place, and is inhabited by the Shards' devotion and dominion. These Shards were immensely influential in shaping the development of the human populace of Sel, which consists of multiple empires that live in willful ignorance of one another within the 3 domains of the planet. The world itself is also larger than most, with huge continents and endless oceans, creating what is truly a diverse landscape, which contains both snow-covered plains and sweeping deserts. The forms of magic on Sel include the Door, forgery, blood-stealing, decor, and hints of a Gendo power. Taldane is the planet upon which the book White Sand is set, and provides a home to the Shard Autonomy. It is a tidally locked world, which is trapped between the gravitational force of 2 stars. The smaller of the two is a far weaker white dwarf, which is barely visible from the dark side of Taldane, and the denizens inhabiting this side of Sel consider uniform darkness to be the natural state of things. Dayside, which provides a stark contrast to Nightside, is made up of a vast desert, and faces the larger star, which is a bluish-white supergiant. As a result of this excess sunlight, the majority of flora and fauna on the dayside grows underground. Visitation of this planet has halted in recent times due to Autonomy's policy of isolationism, preventing travel to and from Taldane. The form of magic practiced here is known as Sand Mastery. Threnody provides the setting for the book Shadows for Silence in the Forests of Hell, and was once the residence of the Shard Ambition. The Threnodite system is a strange one, in that it was altered fundamentally by an ancient conflict. Soon after Adonalsium's murder, Odium mortally wounded the Shard Ambition here. The direct clash between these two immensely powerful shards had a tangible effect on the system, as the destruction and change filtered down through the various worlds. Threnody is the third such world in this system. Investiture existed here prior to the clash, yet it was fundamentally altered afterwards, as shattering elements of Ambition's power were brought to the planet upon the waves of destruction, twisting the people and world of Threnody in equal measure. The world is made up of 2 continents. One of these continents has been abandoned, with expeditions to explore or reclaim it failing in each instance, with the explorers vanishing. The smaller continent is a frontier-like place that is mostly unexplored and unnamed, with several bastions of human society and civilization eking out a difficult existence. The magic system on Threnody revolves around shades and shadow. Little is known of Ó'hÁinle so far. It is the setting of the upcoming book Dragonsteel, and contains no shards. However, the magic system lightweaving is practiced here. More importantly, Ó'hÁinle is one of the most ancient planets in the Cosmere, and is thought to be the place where the fateful 16 shattered Adonalsium. The last planet of note is Vax, which we know almost nothing about. The same can be said for the 10th unknown world. However, it is believed to be the residence of the Shard Survival. Thanks again to Tiege Hanley for sponsoring this video. Get your first box of men's skincare products with a 30% discount by using our link in the description. This brings us to the end of our whistle-stop tour of the Cosmere. We hope you enjoyed it, and we cannot wait to explore more of these worlds and their stories in greater depth in future series. Please let us know which of Sanderson's works you'd like to see us cover in the comments, but in the meantime, we're planning to cover the battles of many other fantasy, sci-fi and space opera universes, so make sure you have subscribed and pressed the bell button. Please consider liking and sharing, as it helps immensely, and don't forget to comment. We'll try to read and respond to every comment, as we want to know what you think about this video and which videos you hope to see in the future. This is the Wizards and Warriors channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.